Imagine this. You wake up, grab your phone, and suddenly everything feels brand new. Animations are buttery smooth, bugs you didn't even know you were dealing with just disappear, and even the little details, like how your clock moves across the lock screen, look flawless. That's the magic of the latest One UI 8 update Samsung just dropped, and here's the kicker. This one might be the last beta before the final stable version rolls out to everyone worldwide. Welcome back, viewers! James here! If you want to stay ahead of everyone else, catch these updates first, and never miss a rollout, hit like, share this with your tech-loving friends, and subscribe, because the next few weeks are about to be very exciting for Galaxy users. Alright, let's break this down. I just installed One UI 8 Beta 7 on my Galaxy S25 Ultra, and right away the size jumped out at me. Over 540 MB. That's not a small patch, which usually means Samsung packed in a lot of meaningful fixes. It also brings the September 1 security patch, which means the latest vulnerability fixes are baked right in. And right after rebooting, the first thing you feel is speed. Everything responds just a little faster, and it makes you want to dig in deeper to see what changed. Let's start with the most frustrating bug we've all been complaining about: the lock screen clock stutter. For weeks, people have been seeing their clock jump or lag when using the shifting clock layout that moves around your wallpaper. I tested this one carefully, unlocking 5 times in a row, and the difference is night and day. No stutter, no random jump cuts, just smooth motion. It honestly feels like the kind of fix that makes you smile the first time you see it work. But here's where things get interesting. The regular clock style still has a tiny glitch. Sometimes after unlocking, the clock shifts just slightly, as if it's not sure where to settle. It's subtle enough that you might miss it if you're not looking, but it's still there, which tells me Samsung is probably saving this last bit of polish for the stable release, and that adds to the suspense. Because if they fix this in the next build, that might be the moment they finally call it stable. Now let's talk Bluetooth. Remember that annoying squeak some people were hearing when connecting earbuds, or worse, random disconnects while listening to music? Beta 7 completely fixes that. I paired my Galaxy Buds, streamed music, took a call, even played games, and there wasn't a single drop or squeak. That's a huge relief if you rely on Bluetooth all day. And Samsung didn't stop there. The stretch font not applied bug has been crushed. The PN entry screen and navigation bar that sometimes looked weirdly thin after updates, fixed. The disappearing quick launch icons on the lock screen, also gone. I tested it multiple times, and they now show up reliably every single time. Navigation bar animations are another area that feels smoother. If you use gestures or switch between apps quickly, you'll notice how fluid everything feels. I even opened a timer, started media playback, and switched between them. Zero lag, zero stutter. It feels like Samsung is tightening every corner of the system. And here's where things get even more interesting. Samsung just pushed out a massive wave of Galaxy Store updates for language resource packs. These aren't random updates. These packs are essential for Galaxy AI's translation and transcription features, and Samsung usually refreshes them right before a major update rollout. That's the kind of behind-the-scenes prep that almost guarantees the stable release is just days away. And it's not just me saying this. Beta 7 is already rolling out to S25, S25, and S25 Ultra users in Germany, South Korea, and the UK. When Samsung starts pushing a near-final build in multiple regions, it usually means we're right on the edge of a global release. If I had to bet, I'd say we're within 1 to 2 weeks, maybe even sooner if Samsung wants to surprise everyone. So what can you expect when the stable build lands? Well, besides all the bug fixes, One UI 8 brings meaningful upgrades across the board. Samsung DeX is getting better multitasking support, making it easier to use your phone like a desktop. Secure Folder is more reliable. Quick Share is revamped to share files faster and more securely. Samsung Internet gets a fresh UI and smoother scrolling, and even the weather app feels more refined with cleaner visuals and better animations. And here's the fun part. The rollout order is pretty predictable. Now, the S25 lineup will get it first, followed by the Galaxy Z Flip 6 and Z Fold 6, then the entire S24 series, and finally Samsung's premium tablets. Mid-range Galaxy phones will join in before the end of the year. So this isn't just a small update, it's the beginning of a huge wave that's going to bring Android 15.1 UI 8 to millions of devices. I know a lot of you have been waiting since the Z Fold 7 launch wondering why the S25 didn't get the stable build sooner, especially since both run the Snapdragon 8 Elite chip. But now we can see the finish line. Beta 7 is so polished that I wouldn't be surprised if Samsung just hits the green button soon. So here's my advice. If you're already on the beta program, install this update right away. You're going to notice the improvements instantly. If you're waiting for the stable version, hang tight, we're almost there, and it's going to be worth it. What about you? Are you team install now or team wait for stable? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to know what bugs you've been dealing with and if this update finally fixed them for you. And as always, stay tuned. The next few weeks are going to be huge for Samsung users, and I'll be covering every step so you don't miss a thing.